Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing John Mayer's Continuum Album track by track. Before I get into it, he's a trash person. I don't defend him as a person. He must be held accountable for the things that he said and done wrong, and those things can coexist. Let's get into it. The first track is Waiting on the World to Change. So this was actually a single. I remember hearing this whenever I was a kid, but I didn't know that it was John Mayer. I didn't really know what the song was about. I just thought it was kind of catchy. And then hearing it again, I'm like, oh, that's actually him. So basically this song is just about you want to make changes in the world, but you basically feel like there's nothing that you can really do, so you're just waiting on those in power to make the changes that you want to see, and just seeing the war and everything that's going on in this country. The second verse really stands out to me. He says, now if we had the power to bring our neighbors home from war, they would have never missed a Christmas, no more ribbons on their door. When you trust your television, what you get is what you got, because when they own the information, oh, they can bend it all they want. And that is so true. A lot of people fall for all this propaganda on, Fox, certain networks, instead of doing all of your research, and that can definitely be very harmful. So I think that that's really important, just to go do your own research from somewhere that's not really biased and make sure you're getting all the factual information. And yeah, you see kind of what that's done to the world since 2016 and all that, but I thought that that was a really powerful line for him to put in the song. And the fact that this song was released in 2006 and this song reigns true now more than ever, yeah, just a really great piece in terms of songwriting. I think it's super catchy. I just think it's a really important song with that overall. And here he's basically confirming what I just said, and he also got a Grammy for this song. And he says that this is one of his hardest songs to sing, basically, and this is definitely one of his best vocal performances in my opinion. I think this album in this era is the best that his voice has ever sounded, and I love the vocal right before the guitar solo. The guitar solo is absolutely excellent. So yeah, I think from a vocal standpoint, from the songwriting, from the production and music, I think that this is an excellent song, still sounds great to this day, and a lot of food for thought with it. Track 2 is I Don't Trust Myself with Loving You. So I think that this is a decent track overall, interesting lyrically, especially that second verse, I will beg my way into your garden and then I'll break my way out when it rains, just to get back to the place where I started so I can want you back all over again. I don't really understand. And then that bridge, who do you love? Girl, I see through your love. Who do you love? Me or the thought of me? Me or the thought of me? It's interesting with the lyrics. Production on here I think is great overall. Decent vocal. Track 3 is Believe. So I really like the guitars on this song. I think that it's really interesting from an instrumental standpoint. But basically the song is sharing some of the anti-war sentiments that he was discussing on Waiting for the World to Change. So I can really appreciate the way that he went about it lyrically, and the outro is what stands out to me the most. He says, who puts 100,000 children in the sand? Belief can, belief can. What puts the folded flag inside his mother's hand? Belief can, belief can. Yeah, how many people have died for unnecessary wars? They hated on the chicks because they were against the war, at that time and everything, but they stood on their beliefs, and look how many people have died, unfortunately, due to that. It's something that's really sad to see. So yeah, I think songwriting wise, this is amazing. Good vocals. Like I said, I really like the instrumentation here overall as well. Track 4 is Gravity. I think that this is a good song lyrically, and here's a little bit of him kind of talking about the song and what it means to him and why it was so important for him to put the song together and write it. Overall, I have to say, I think this song is overrated. I do, in my opinion, not top 5 song on this album. Is it a good song? Yes. Can I get why people like it? Yeah. But when we say that it's his best song and that it's the best song on this album, I have to disagree with that. I have to disagree with that. But I think there's some good moments lyrically. Like I said, not a bad song. I think y'all just overrate it. Track 5 is The Heart of Life. So this is definitely one of my favorite songs on this album. I love the guitars. I love the lyrics. And in there, he's basically just saying you go through a lot of hard things, but at the core, life is good. There's a lot of great things about life. So I just really enjoyed it from a lyrical standpoint. The guitars, good vocal on here, short and sweet. Track 6 is Vultures, another one of my favorite songs on this album. I really like the instrumentation on it. I think it's super cool. And from a songwriter perspective, I think that it's excellent. The chorus is super catchy as well. And it kind of just seems to be saying these vultures, all these people who are kind of just wishing on my downfall, or who are making things harder for me. I'm going to ultimately end up overcoming them and just being successful, because that's what I do. I'll find a way to kind of get to that point. At least that's what it seems to be about. So it can kind of just be about maybe the general public. It could be about media, maybe other people in the music industry. That's kind of how I take this song, but he could also just be talking about in general in his personal life, or just writing from a different place. But I think it's just a cool song. Track 7 is Stop This Train, and this is easily my favorite song on the album, just lyrically. The song is basically just about being scared of getting older, and at the end he kind of comes to terms with it and everything, and you can't really stop it. And so I just really love the chorus on here. I love the guitars, the third verse and the first bridge, absolutely really amazing. And then I really enjoy with this song how he has 2 bridges. So I think both of them are just really great there, and just the songwriting on here, amazing, kind of as I already discussed, and musically, just the pocket that kind of sits in there. Good vocal performance overall, and here on the screen is him kind of talking about what this song was about and the meaning to him. And I will say that the Where the Light Is version is way better than the album version. This is the first time that I've heard the album version in a very long time, and I think performing it live just really brought it to life. I think his vocal is a lot better, and he just took it to another level. So I will prefer the live version, and I play it every single time pretty much, but I think that this is an excellent song and one of his best songs overall. Deserves all the praise that it gets. Track 8 is Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. Do I think it's a little bit overrated? Perhaps. Good song with the instrumentation and such, and the lyrics. I don't like whenever he says you'll be a bitch because you can. I don't know, just something about a man calling a woman a bitch as a woman doesn't really sit right with me. I will say that, you know, lyrically it's good. He's basically kind of just talking about a relationship that's coming to an end. One person knows it faster than the other one. I mean, they both know it, and just trying to cope with that emotionally. And I think lyrically it's good. I like the instrumentation with the guitars. Good vocal performance on here overall. Tends to be a fan favorite, one of his more popular songs. Track 9 is Bold as Love. So this is a Jimi Hendrix cover, and I really enjoy what John Mayer did with it overall. Vocals, instrumentation, it's just a nice listen. Track 10 is Dreaming with a Broken Heart. This is just about coping with a relationship and everything, and the difficult part of that. So good songwriting, good vocals, good production. It's a decent track overall. Track 11 is In Repair. Definitely an underrated record on this album. Great songwriting, and he's just saying, you know, I'm in repair, I'm not together, but I'm getting there. Kind of just talking about I'm a work in progress. I'm always going to improve. So I liked it lyrically. The instrumentation I think is outstanding, and I like the vocal performance on here as well. So what's on final track on the album is I'm Gonna Find Another You. So it's basically just saying, you know, once I get through my heartbreak of this relationship, I'm gonna find another you. I'm gonna find somebody to replace you. I'm gonna find someone that's better than you. So it kind of has that aspect about it. I like the production. I like the vocal on here. I think it's a decent track overall. Good way to end off the album. Okay, so his song Say is on a bonus version of some versions of the album. I figured I would talk about it, but I love this song. You know, this is another one that I heard like years before I connected that it was him. I think it's just beautiful overall, like the instrumentation. I think that's the ukulele that's being used. Really great vocal performance. Songwriting is on target, and this was for a soundtrack for a movie. I think he did a great job with this record, so I'm pleased with it. I think it still sounds great. Okay, so for a recap on my favorite songs in this album, Stop This Train is my #1 song on this album, and then I also love Vultures and The Heart of Life. Those are my top 3. And then if I had to put one more song in there, I would probably say Waiting on the World to Change. So my overall thoughts on this album, I think that this is John Mayer's best album. There's not a single bad song on here. I think it's really strong from a songwriting perspective, talking about life and relationships, especially with stuff like Stop This Train. Like when I was talking about that song, I just put all the lyrics on there because I think that that's just a masterpiece, of course. And then I really like what he was talking about politically. Songs like Waiting on the World to Change and Belief. So I think that he's a really smart songwriter. And most of his songs he writes all by himself. He rarely ever collaborates with people to write. So I definitely have to give him credit for the songwriting. I think that there was some profound stuff on there. I think that there was some relatable stuff on here. And he just makes some catchy and great songs overall that still sound good. In terms of the production music, he does a lot of the music as well, and so I think that there's just some really great grooves on here and some really cool riffs, especially on Stop This Train with the guitars there, Vultures, and yeah, I just really appreciate the way that he utilizes the guitar and the guest musician that he brings in as well. Like I said, vocally, I think that this is his best album. I think that this is the best that he sounded, and yeah, really strong. So this album is probably a solid 9 out of 10, could be a 10 out of 10 given on the day, but yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I'd recommend listening to this album if you haven't already. I think it's a great body of work. But that is going to be my review of John Mayer's Continuum album. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and so I have done some other videos on John Mayer. I ranked his entire discography, and so I definitely would like to do a video on more of his albums. I think the next video I want to do on him is reviewing Battle Studies, because I think that that's a really solid album, so I'll probably do that at some point, and so I'll link the videos I've done on him below, and also at the end of this video if you would like to check it out. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. If you did enjoy it, give it a like below. It helps me out a lot in the YouTube algorithm. I very much appreciate it, and you can and subscribe if you would like to see more videos like this. And if you hit the bell, you get notifications for when I post and I miss some brand new videos come out, doing album reviews, album reactions every single week on this channel. First link down below in the description is going to be my second YouTube channel. On there, I am just talking about, you know, the music industry and just current topics. So there's this post I saw on Twitter asking who makes the best music. So I talked about that. I talked about music conversations that I'm just tired of having. I shared why I'm tired of engagement farming and why it's kind of like hurting the music discussion that's going around on Twitter and stuff like that. And so that's typically what I talk about, but I also have videos on dance films. That's one of my favorite shows of all time, probably my #1 show of all time. I also talk about the NFL. So now I am giving you guys a review of the NFL games that I watched that week, and I'm also giving you my picks as to who I think is going to win and my rationale every single week. And then I also talk about the WNBA sometimes. I do tier lists. I just talk about whatever I want. So if you want to see more of me and you would like to see more shorter form content, then you can definitely subscribe to the second channel. And so I post every day on there. I haven't missed a day this year, and I intend to keep that up. Also gonna have social media, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, and Airbuds if you would like to follow me on those platforms. Make sure that you register to vote. I will be voting for Kamala Harris in November. This is an extremely important election. And also Free Palestine. This is something that we must educate ourselves on. And so if you wanted to learn more about the cause, if you wanted to make a donation, I have links down below in my description for that. And so that's going to be it for this video and everything. I think I'm going to do a poll, and I'm going to ask you guys what video you want to see next from me. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.